I politely declined when my ex invited me to be a groomsman at her wedding, but then the groom secretly reached out to me, and what he revealed uncovered a shocking truth about my ex that changed everything I thought I knew about their relationship, and mine. At 29 years old, I never imagined I'd find myself in this predicament, yet here I stand. My former girlfriend, Amy, 28, recently extended an invitation for me to serve as a groomsman at her impending nuptials to her childhood love, Tom, also 29. Allow me to provide some context regarding our intricate past. Amy and I first crossed paths 4 years prior, introduced by mutual acquaintances at a local establishment known as the Rusty Nail. It was a Friday evening, and our circle of friends had assembled for our customary weekly trivia competition. Amy was a newcomer to the vicinity, having just relocated for a position at a marketing agency. Jessica, 27, her college housemate, introduced her to our group. From the instant Amy joined our table, I was captivated. She possessed an infectious chuckle and a sharp intellect that made her a formidable opponent in trivia. We ended up on the same team and our connection was immediate. Throughout the evening we continuously exchanged glances and sought reasons to engage in conversation. By the close of the night, I had mustered the courage to request her contact information. Our initial date took place at a charming, unconventional art gallery featuring local artists. Amy had mentioned her fondness for art during the trivia night, so I believed it would be the ideal setting. We spent hours meandering through the displays, discussing our preferred pieces, and sharing personal anecdotes. I discovered that Amy had grown up in a small community and had always harbored aspirations of urban living. She spoke of her passion for graphic design and her ambition to establish her own agency one day. As we departed the gallery, rain began to fall. We dashed to a nearby cafe, laughing as we became thoroughly drenched. Over warm beverages, our conversation continued until the staff began arranging chairs around us. It was one of those enchanting first encounters you encounter in literature. Things progressed swiftly thereafter. We shared numerous common interests: a fondness for independent music, a mutual fascination with true crime podcasts, and a collective ambition to explore all the national parks. Within a few months we were virtually inseparable. Our friends playfully remarked that we were perpetually together. At the 1-year milestone we decided to cohabitate. We discovered a comfortable apartment featuring a small balcony where Amy could nurture her collection of succulent plants. I recall dedicating an entire weekend to assembling flat-pack furniture and debating the placement of artwork. Yet, even amidst those moments of exasperation, I felt fortunate to be constructing a life with her. As we settled into shared domesticity, our discussions about the future became more earnest. Amy would frequently allude to matrimony, pointing out engagement rings in storefronts or tagging me in social media posts featuring distinctive proposal concepts. I knew I wished to marry her, but I desired the proposal to be flawless. I dedicated months to orchestrating the perfect moment. I settled on a romantic weekend escape to Sunset Beach, the location of our first shared holiday. I remember my apprehension, attempting to conceal the ring box within my luggage, and fretting that she might discover it. I had meticulously planned everything: a twilight stroll on the beach, followed by a candlelit meal at the very restaurant where we had commemorated our 6-month anniversary during that initial excursion. The night before our departure, Amy requested a conversation. My heart pounded, imagining she might have uncovered the surprise. But as soon as I observed her expression, I knew something was amiss. She seated me on our well-worn leather sofa, the one where we had spent countless evenings embracing while engrossed in our preferred series. With tears in her eyes, Amy confessed that she had been in communication with her high school ex-boyfriend, Tom, for the past several months. According to Amy, she and Tom had been a couple throughout their high school years. They epitomized the classic high school sweethearts. He was the football team captain. She was the artistic girl who designed all the promotional materials for school events. They harbored grand ambitions of attending the same university and embarking on their lives together. However, just prior to graduation, Tom's father received a job offer in another state. They attempted a long-distance relationship for a period, but eventually decided to separate and pursue individual paths. Amy explained that Tom had reconnected with her via social media after his grandmother's passing. Apparently, his grandmother had always held a special affection for Amy and continued to inquire about her even years after their breakup. What began as Tom sharing recollections of his grandmother evolved into daily messages and late-night telephone calls. I sat there stunned as Amy disclosed her emotional confusion. She stated that she believed she had moved on from Tom years ago, but conversing with him had rekindled all these dormant feelings. She was uncertain if she was prepared to commit to marriage with me while harboring these unresolved emotions for Tom. I was heartbroken. The ring box felt as though it were scorching a hole in my sock drawer. All my plans, all our discussions about the future, seemed to disintegrate around me. We decided to postpone our trip and take some time to sort things out. The subsequent weeks were a blur of protracted, tearful discussions and sleepless nights. Amy relocated to the spare room, and the apartment that had once felt so comforting now seemed stifling. We attempted to resolve matters. We even attended a few couples counseling sessions. But deep down, I believe we both understood the inevitable outcome. Finally, after approximately a month of existing in this state of uncertainty, Amy informed me she wished to give things another try with Tom. She expressed a need to explore that connection to genuinely progress in her life. She apologized profusely, assuring me I was an exceptional person and that she never intended to cause me pain. However, those words did little to alleviate the anguish. I assisted Amy in packing her belongings, each container feeling like another nail in the coffin of our relationship. The day she departed was one of the most challenging of my life. I remember sitting on our now empty balcony, gazing at her vacant succulent containers, and feeling utterly adrift. The succeeding months were arduous. I immersed myself in my work, undertaking additional projects to keep my mind occupied. I began frequenting the gym, pushing myself physically to exhaust my body so my thoughts wouldn't stray. I embraced new pastimes. I learned to play the guitar and enrolled in cooking classes, anything to fill the void Amy had left in my existence. My friends were incredibly supportive during this period. Jessica, in particular, went out of her way to check on me and ensure I was taking care of myself. She would often arrive with takeout and compel me to watch dreadful films with her, simply to divert my attention from my own thoughts. Gradually but surely I began to recuperate. I started to rediscover my identity as an individual, not merely as part of a couple. I even went on a few casual dates, though nothing serious materialized. Then last week unexpectedly, I received a text from Amy requesting to meet for coffee. Curious and somewhat apprehensive, I agreed. We met at our former favorite cafe, the same one we had sought refuge in on our first date to escape the rain. Amy appeared well. Her hair was shorter, and she seemed to possess an added vibrancy in her stride. We engaged in brief small talk, catching up on work and mutual acquaintances. Then she delivered the bombshell. She and Tom were engaged and planning their wedding for this summer. I sat there, my coffee cooling, as Amy recounted their whirlwind romance and how Tom had proposed during a trip to Paris. Then came the astonishing request. She desired me to be one of Tom's groomsmen. I nearly choked on my beverage. Amy explained that Tom lacked many close male companions in the area, as most of his friends remained in his hometown. She believed that since I had been such a significant part of her life, it would be thoughtful to include me in their special occasion. She stated it would mean a great deal to both of them if I consented. I informed Amy I required time to consider it, and departed the cafe feeling as though I had entered some bizarre parallel dimension. The notion of standing there, witnessing Amy marry someone else, particularly the individual she had left me for, caused my stomach to churn. I spent the next few days contemplating the situation. A part of me wondered if participating in the wedding would offer some form of closure. But each time I envisioned myself in that capacity, I felt unwell. Yesterday, I contacted Amy and informed her I could not serve as a groomsman at her wedding. I explained that while I extended my best wishes to her and Tom, it would be too uncomfortable for me to be part of their wedding party. Amy did not react favorably. She accused me of being self-centered and clinging to the past. She claimed I was ruining her perfect wedding vision, and that I should display more maturity regarding the circumstance. Now I feel conflicted. Some of our mutual friends are suggesting I should simply endure it for Amy's sake. They believe I am being petty by declining, but I genuinely do not feel at ease in that position. So, Reddit, am I in the wrong for refusing to be a groomsman at my ex-girlfriend's wedding to the person she left me for? Update 1. It has been approximately a month since my previous post, and to say much has transpired would be an understatement. I wish to begin by expressing gratitude to everyone for their counsel and encouragement. Reading your comments helped bolster my confidence in my decision to decline the groomsman role. After I conveyed my refusal to Amy, she did not accept it gracefully. She continued to exert pressure through text messages, frequently sending lengthy paragraphs asserting my immaturity, and how this was an opportunity for all of us to move forward constructively. She even enlisted some of our mutual friends to attempt to persuade me. It was draining and exasperating to constantly defend my choice. I maintained my stance, reiterating that while I wished them well, I was uncomfortable being part of their wedding party. I tried to be polite but firm, hoping she would eventually respect my decision and desist. Things took an unforeseen turn last week. I was at the gym in the midst of a particularly strenuous workout. I've been utilizing exercise as a stress coping mechanism lately, when I noticed Tom on the opposite side of the room. This was surprising as it is not his usual gym. In fact, it is quite distant from his residence. I was tempted to simply reinsert my headphones and ignore him, but he caught my eye and began approaching. Reluctantly, I stepped off the treadmill and prepared myself for what I presumed would be an awkward encounter. To my astonishment, Tom inquired if we could converse. We proceeded to the juice bar connected to the gym, and that's when matters became truly intriguing. Tom disclosed the entire situation. He informed me he had no knowledge of Amy asking me to be a groomsman until after I had already declined. He was shocked when she told him about it and my refusal. Tom stated he completely comprehended my stance and apologized for Amy's conduct. But that wasn't all. Tom revealed that he had been feeling uneasy about their relationship ever since they had reunited. He said that when they first reconnected, it felt like old times. They reminisced about their high school days, shared stories about their lives since then, and felt that spark reignite. But as they spent more time together and began envisioning a future, Tom started to observe aspects of Amy he hadn't seen before, or perhaps had chosen to overlook in the past. According to Tom, Amy had been acting increasingly controlling and manipulative. She was fixated on having a perfect wedding, and was prepared to disregard anyone's feelings to achieve her desires. Tom stated he was beginning to perceive facets of Amy he hadn't noticed previously, and it was causing him to question their engagement. He shared a few instances that made me realize how much Amy had transformed, or perhaps how much I hadn't recognized during our relationship. Tom mentioned how Amy had thrown a tantrum when his sister announced her pregnancy, fearing it would divert attention from the wedding. He spoke about how Amy had been pressuring him to sever ties with female friends she felt threatened by, even though these were long-standing platonic relationships. As Tom spoke, I found myself recounting some of my own experiences with Amy. I told him how she had often made me feel culpable for spending time with my friends or pursuing hobbies that did not involve her. I shared how she would sometimes give me the silent treatment for days if I disagreed with her about something, no matter how trivial it was. It was surreal to be forming a bond with an individual I once considered my adversary, but it felt good to clear the air between us. We ended up conversing for over an hour, sharing our experiences and realizing that perhaps Amy was not the person either of us had believed her to be. A few days after my discussion with Tom, I received a call from our mutual friend Jessica. She informed me that Tom had called off the engagement. Apparently, he and Amy had a significant argument about the wedding preparations. Amy wished to invite an ex-boyfriend of hers, not me, another one, to the wedding, insisting he was merely a friend now. When Tom expressed discomfort with this, Amy accused him of being insecure and not trusting her. This escalated into a larger dispute where numerous issues came to light, and Tom finally recognized he could not proceed with the marriage. Jessica said Amy was devastated and attributing blame to everyone else for the failed engagement, including me. Apparently, Amy was telling anyone who would listen that if I had agreed to be a groomsman, none of this would have occurred. She was portraying me as the antagonist who had poisoned Tom against her. I experienced a mixture of emotions upon hearing this news. A part of me felt vindicated that I had not succumbed to Amy's demands, but I also felt sympathy for both Amy and Tom. It is evident that there were deeper problems in their relationship that needed to be addressed. Since then, I've been bombarded with angry messages from Amy. She has accused me of turning Tom against her, of being envious of their happiness, and of ruining her life. It has been overwhelming and painful, even though I know her accusations are unfounded. I've decided to block her number and social media accounts for my own peace of mind. Some of our mutual friends have taken sides, with a few stating I should have simply been a groomsman to maintain harmony, while others are supporting my decision and distancing themselves from Amy due to her conduct. Through all of this, I've realized that I made the correct choice in prioritizing my own feelings and boundaries. It has been a challenging and dramatic month, but I feel as though I've grown from this experience. I am concentrating on myself and my own well-being, and I am thankful for the support I've received from many of you. I am uncertain what the future holds, but I am striving to remain optimistic and move forward. This entire situation has taught me a great deal about asserting myself, and the significance of surrounding myself with individuals who respect my boundaries. It has been a difficult journey, but I am hopeful that more positive developments are on the horizon. Update 2. 6 months have passed since my last update, and I wish to share some recent developments in this ongoing narrative. Life has a peculiar way of presenting unexpected twists when you least anticipate them. After Tom dissolved the engagement, things were quiet for a while. I had blocked Amy on all platforms and was concentrating on my own life. I immerse myself in a new endeavor at work. We are developing a groundbreaking application that could potentially revolutionize our entire industry. It has been demanding but incredibly gratifying. Outside of my professional life, I joined a local sports league. I've always enjoyed basketball but never had the opportunity to play regularly when I was with Amy. Now I am a member of a team that plays twice weekly. It has been beneficial for both my physical and mental well-being, and I've also made some new acquaintances. I've also been on a few casual dates. Nothing serious yet, but it has been pleasant to put myself out there again. I am proceeding cautiously and truly savoring the process of getting to know new people, without the pressure of immediately entering a serious relationship. Approximately 2 months ago, I received a letter in the mail from Amy. Initially, I was tempted to discard it unread, but curiosity prevailed. In the letter, Amy expressed remorse for her behavior and acknowledged that she had been self-centered and manipulative. She explained that after Tom departed, she underwent a period of introspection and recognized how poorly she had treated both Tom and me. Amy wrote that she had begun consulting a life coach to address her personal issues and was making progress in comprehending her destructive patterns. She did not seek forgiveness or attempt to rekindle any form of relationship. Instead, she simply wished to assume responsibility for her actions and inform me that she was striving to become a better person. I appreciated the letter but chose not to reply. I felt it was best to maintain the distance between us. It was reassuring to know that Amy was working on herself, but I did not feel the need to be part of that journey. Ironically, about a week after receiving Amy's letter, I encountered Tom at a local coffee shop. I was there working on my laptop when he entered. We caught each other's gaze, and after a moment of hesitation, he approached my table. We began conversing, and he brought me up to speed on what had been happening in his life. He had also received a similar letter from Amy and, like me, had chosen not to respond. Tom appeared happier and more at ease than when I last saw him. He mentioned he had started seeing someone new and was taking things slowly. As Tom and I were catching up, Jessica, our mutual friend, walked into the coffee shop. She was surprised to see us together and joined our table. The three of us ended up having a lengthy conversation about everything that had transpired. Jessica revealed that she had distanced herself from Amy after witnessing her conduct during the wedding planning and subsequent breakup. She said Amy had attempted to manipulate her into taking sides, and had disseminated rumors about both Tom and me when things fell apart. During our discussion, Jessica mentioned that she was organizing a charitable event for a local animal shelter and was seeking volunteers. Both Tom and I offered to assist. Over the next few weeks, the three of us spent time together planning and preparing for the event. We worked on creating flyers, establishing an online donation platform, and reaching out to local businesses for support. It was during this time that I truly came to know Tom as an individual, not merely as Amy's ex or my perceived competitor. He proved to be a genuinely kind person with an excellent sense of humor. We discovered we shared many commonalities, including a mutual appreciation for obscure 80s films and a passion for hiking. The charity event was a triumph, and we raised a substantial sum for the animal shelter. Collaborating on this project helped solidify our newfound camaraderie. It's peculiar to consider that if I had consented to be a groomsman, none of this would have occurred. As for Amy, I haven't heard from her since the letter. Our mutual friends indicate she's been maintaining a low profile and appears to be genuinely working on herself. While I wish her well, I am content with how things have unfolded for me. This experience has taught me the significance of advocating for myself and has led me to unexpected new friendships. I've been concentrating on personal development and pursuing my interests. The app project at work is progressing favorably, and I've even been considering enrolling in some coding courses to enhance my abilities. My basketball team advanced to the league semifinals, which has been exciting. Overall, life feels positive right now. I am not rushing into anything romantically, but I am open to what the future may bring. I am grateful for the support I've received throughout this journey, both from friends in real life and from all of you here on Reddit. Update 3. A year has passed since this entire saga commenced, and I wish to provide one final update. Life has a way of completing a full circle, and my story is no exception. Over the past 6 months, my bond with Tom and Jessica has continued to strengthen. We've become a close-knit trio, frequently spending time together, and offering mutual support through various life events. Tom has been thriving with his new girlfriend, and they recently moved in together. Jessica received a promotion at work and has been flourishing in her new position. As for me, I've been concentrating on personal growth and pursuing my passions. I began taking photography classes, something I've always desired to do but never found the time for when I was with Amy. It has been incredibly rewarding, And I've even had a few of my photographs displayed at a local art gallery. Now, here's where things become interesting. Approximately a month ago, I was at a photography exhibition when I quite literally collided with someone while attempting to secure a better angle for a shot. As I turned to offer my apologies, I found myself face to face with Emily, 27, a woman I had briefly dated in college before we pursued separate paths due to differing career aspirations. Emily and I were both surprised to encounter each other, and we ended up spending the remainder of the evening catching up. It turns out she had recently returned to town for a job opportunity. We discovered that we both shared a passion for photography and had many commonalities that we hadn't realized back in college. We've been seeing each other regularly since then, and things are progressing very well. It's still early days, but I feel a connection with Emily that I haven't experienced with anyone in a long time. She is aware of my past with Amy and has been understanding and supportive. Interestingly, last week Tom, Jessica, Emily, and I all went out for dinner together. It was somewhat surreal to be seated there with my new girlfriend and the friends I made through such a tumultuous experience. We laughed about the peculiar nature of life and how unforeseen events can lead to positive outcomes. As for Amy, I heard through the grapevine that she's relocated to a different city for a fresh start. I hope she has found peace and continued to work on herself. While I wouldn't wish the pain and drama of the past year on anyone, I cannot help but feel thankful for where it has led me.